This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is precisely 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. Health workers end the strike. Former Minister Basil Rajapaksha's name sent to Elections Commission. 8,000 workers at local government bodies will be made permanent. Those who have not obtained the COVID vaccine will not be able to leave overseas. Vaccination takes place successfully at army premises. The consultant doctor who abused the underage girl remanded. In news overseas, passenger plane goes missing in Russia's Far East. In sports news, Australian Grand Prix, Formula One race and MotoGP round called off. Local stories in detail. Several health sector trade unions have called off their ongoing strike following discussions with Minister of Health Pavitra Vanyarachchi. The Joint Council of Professions Supplementary to Medicine yesterday said they would resort to indefinite trade union action if authorities fail to provide solutions to their demands within the day. The Joint Council carried out trade union action with its members reporting sick based on 14 demands, including the granting of promotions. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna has proposed the name of former Minister Basil Rajapaksha to the vacancy in Parliament created by the resignation of MP Jayantha Katagoda. It has been informed to the Elections Commission. General Secretary of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna MP Sagar Karyavasam said that Mr. Basil Rajapaksha will take oaths as a Member of Parliament on Thursday. Minister Janaka Bandara Tennakon says that the government will take steps to make permanent the substitute, daily paid and contract workers at local government institutions soon. He said that there are about 8,000 such workers employed at local government institutions. The minister said that the Prime Minister has instructed to make them permanent. He said that the Prime Minister is expected to submit the proposal as the Finance Minister to the next Cabinet meeting. Military spokesman Brigadier Nilantha Premaratna says that any person above 30 years and who has not taken a COVID vaccine will not be allowed to enter any country through an airport or harbour. When issuing a visa, it will be considered whether the COVID vaccine has been taken. A person who gets the vaccine will be entered into an international network of those who have taken the vaccine. The network had been established jointly by all countries. A program is now being implemented to give vaccines soon to the people leaving for foreign employment. The army said that they should be registered to get the vaccine. The national identity card is compulsory for vaccination. The armed forces gave COVID vaccines at 18 places today as well. 41,000 persons have been given vaccines yesterday. Many people have commended the commitment of armed forces over social media. Military spokesman Brigadier Nilantha Premaratna said that although there was a time to end vaccination, they gave vaccines until the last person. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva says that COVID vaccination is taking place successfully at premises belonging to the Army and places near them. He said that the Army performs its duties to the maximum level during any situation. The program to vaccinate students who are going for foreign universities is also taking place. Online registration in this regard has commenced. Students can register by logging into www.army.lk_vaccine_COVID-19 website. Meanwhile, 26,000 doses of Pfizer vaccines received by the country yesterday have been handed over to the Army. Those vaccines will be given to persons above 55 years at 2 places from tomorrow morning. The specialist doctor arrested over sexual exploitation of a 15-year-old girl has been remanded until Friday. The 41-year-old, a consultant cardiologist at a well-known hospital in a suburban area of Colombo, was arrested in the area of Bandaragama this morning. He was produced before Colombo Magistrates Court earlier today, along with another 33-year-old suspect involved in the sex trafficking ring. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
Continuing with the local stories, the Draft Amendment Bill on Criminal Code, Draft Amendment Bill on Torture, Inhuman, Cruel or Degrading Treatment, an order under Special Criminal Procedure Act, and a proposal on salaries and allowances of the members of the Office for Missing Persons were passed in Parliament today. Presenting the motion, Minister Ali Sabri said in Parliament that the amendments will provide opportunity for the magistrate to take suitable steps by showing shortcomings not only at prison cells but also at other places where the suspects are detained. The court system will be digitalized as a solution to delays in laws. 3 committees have been appointed to change outdated laws. Speaking in Parliament, MP Lakshman Kiriyalla said that they do not oppose the amendments. However, he charged that by passing the 20th Amendment, powers of all institutions were vested with the President. He emphasized that the demands of the European Union should be met. Police cannot assault suspects for any offence. It is suitable to enhance punishments for persons who carry out cruel acts. This was mentioned by parliamentarian W.D.J. Senviratne while taking part in the debate. MP Surendra Raghavan said that law and democracy should stay together. State Minister Dayasri Jayasekara said that there is an attempt by various elements to reverse new investment policies of the country. Prevention of Terrorism Act should be amended for the future of the country. MP Dr. Jayantha Veerasinghe said that the amendments will benefit the public. The Cabinet has approved to import sugar and red dal from India and Australia and to sell those through Lanka, Satasa and cooperative outlets. The decision has been taken to maintain essential food items in the market without a shortage amid the pandemic. The 34th commemoration of late singer H.R. Jyotipala falls tomorrow. A special program in this connection will be broadcast tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 12 noon over the Sinhala National Service of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Senior lecturers Jagat Vallavatta, Manoj Pushpakumar Jinadasa, Nadika Guruge, music researcher, journalist Lal Abedira, and several new generation singers will take part in the program. To end the local news, the headlines again. Health workers end the strike. Former Minister Basil Rajapaksha's name sent to Elections Commission. 8,000 workers at local government bodies will be made permanent. Those who have not obtained the COVID vaccine will not be able to live overseas. Vaccination takes place successfully at army premises. The consultant doctor who abused the underage girl remanded. That concludes local news.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus, an unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112 357 357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On the main news story, the Ministry of Health said today 1,717 more coronavirus patients were discharged from medical care within the last 24 hours as they have recovered from the infection. This brings the total number of recoveries from COVID-19 in the country to 236,659. Sri Lanka has so far reported 266,499 positive cases of COVID-19. However, 26,572 of them are still being treated at hospitals and treatment centers. The death toll from the outbreak of the pandemic, meanwhile, stands at 3,268. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watch Light. The Elections Commission has requested people to contact the respective Grama Niladaris to include and ensure the name in the 2021 electoral register. It is said the people could also check the inclusion of their names with the respective Grama Niladari or to make alterations to the residences. Public can check their names by visiting the Elections Commission website www.elections.gov.lk. That ends Watch Light. Headlines of the world news. Passenger planes goes missing in Russia's Far East. Hong Kong defends privacy law after big tech raises concerns. New Zealand farmer convicted for animal neglect after 226 sheep are euthanized. A Russian AN-26 aeroplane with at least 28 people on board has gone missing in Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's Far East. News agencies cited regional authorities as saying it was flying from Petropavlovsk to Palana in the Kamchatka Peninsula when it did not make a scheduled call in, the Interfax RIA and TASS news agencies quoted local officials as saying today. Hong Kong has defended planned changes to privacy laws, brushing off concerns raised by a technology industry body. The new law targets the malicious act of publishing people's personal information online. But an industry group says technology giants may pull out of the city over fears that they could become liable for user content. Hong Kong's leader, Carrie Lam, said officials would meet companies that are concerned about the changes. A New Zealand farmer has been convicted of mistreating his sheep after 226 of them had to be euthanized. The animals were found to be severely malnourished and ill and were put down. Farmer Bevan Scott Tate had pleaded guilty, although his defense said he had seen suffering from depression and had not received enough support. Yesterday, he was sentenced to 9 months home detention and 150 hours of community work under the Animal Welfare Act. He will also be barred from managing or owning farm animals for 4 years. To end the world news, the headlines again. Passenger plane goes missing in Russia's Far East. Hong Kong defends privacy law after big tech raises concerns. New Zealand farmer convicted for animal neglect after 226 sheep are euthanized. That ends the world news. On development news, the stretch from Mirigama to Kurunegala on the Central Expressway is now being constructed. The constructions are expected to be completed in 3 months. The work on 15 kilometers stretch from Kadawatha to Mirigama will be completed by 2024. A main part from Pothuhara to Galagedara on the Kandy Road is now under construction and it will be completed by 2023. The Central Expressway will be opened to the public by 2024. That ends development news. We take a look at sports news next. It's Grand Prix, cricket and football news. In Grand Prix, the Australian Grand Prix has been called off for the second year in a row because of the coronavirus pandemic. The Australian round of the MotoGP World Championship, scheduled for 24th October, has also been cancelled. The Formula One event was due to take place from 19th to 21st November, but has been abandoned because of tight border controls in Australia. In cricket, Sri Lanka cricketers who are taking part in the T20 and One-Day International Series against India should sign their contracts before 8 p.m. today. Sri Lanka Cricket said if they do not sign the contract before the time, they will not be allowed to play in the series. Meanwhile, England will name a new squad for their ODI series with Pakistan after 3 players and 4 staff members tested positive for COVID-19. The team was due to begin the series with an ODI in Cardiff on Thursday. The ECB said Ben Stokes will return to captain a squad which will be named in the next few hours. In football news, Lucas Paqueta sent defending champions Brazil into the Copa America final with a first-half winner against Peru at the Nilton Santos Stadium. Neymar beat three defenders on the left before crossing for Paqueta to guide from home the semi-finals' only goal. Brazil, who has won the Copa America every time they hosted the tournament, face either Argentina or Colombia in Saturday's final at the Maracana. That ends Sports News.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's Jat Holdings, which claims a 50% market share in wood coatings and has export presence including in Bangladesh, is seeking 1.5 billion rupees in an initial public offering, while an existing shareholder is selling out for 731 million rupees. The share offer by Jat Holdings, which sells Cerelac branded coatings by Sherwin-Williams, will open on 20th July on the Colombo Stock Exchange. That ends Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
On economic news, Sri Lanka's largest tourism trading association says the continuation of maintaining tight regulations is detrimental to the hard-hit industry and the limited easing makes little to no sense. The Hotels Association of Sri Lanka asserted that allowing only 25% capacity operation of a food and beverage facility and the total ban on weddings does not make sense when the country's vaccination rollout has taken an overdrive. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And finally on the Weather Report, the Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the western, Sabragamur, northwestern, southern and central provinces. Fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places elsewhere in the evening or at night. That ends the Weather Report.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. Health workers end the strike. Former Minister Basil Rajapaksha's name sent to Elections Commission. 8,000 workers at local government bodies will be made permanent. Those who have not obtained the COVID vaccine will not be able to leave overseas. Vaccination takes place successfully at army premises. The consultant doctor who abused the underage girl remanded. In news overseas, passenger plane goes missing in Russia's Far East. In sports news, Australian Grand Prix, Formula One race and MotoGP round called off. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.